we are in the presence of a celebrity right now. This is
We are.
She did the Super Bowl commercial with Bill Murray and Jeep.
That's it right there.
This is it. This is the one that started it all.
You planned that.
No, I didn't, but yeah, that's cool.
Could we be in line for something funny to come out of the mouth?
Just might happen. What a little cute.
She's the best.
Everyone deserves to feel their best. Everyone deserves to move their best and not have pain.
I'm a little upset that Ben got like 2 inches taller because he's already tall, dark, and handsome enough.
Culture is something we think about like all the time at Strookies. You know, we're all coming from different cultures.
Our comments have exploded through the roof. So there you go. The pre-show was fun, and we're already giggling. Welcome.
I think that happens
Lancaster
every
Connects.
week.
That's what you do when you're interested in starting off the show with some energy.
This is true.
You get to laughing and all that other fun stuff. So we were talking amongst ourselves before we came live about nicknames. So my son's nickname for football, because Janakova was not exactly like Smith or Jones.
It's hard to spell and hard to say if you just see the letters, right?
So his nickname is Aiden Avocado.
Like it.
Or Avocado.
Double A.
Yeah. So if you've got a cool nickname, if your kid's been given a neat nickname in sports or band or any other co-curriculars, or you just have a cool nickname, put it in the comments.
You need like an avocado, like a logo, avatar. That's it. Like an avocado with a cape or something, or like.
It's funny. My sister.
Like super avocado.
So what we're talking about in the pre-show is with college athletics, there's NIL deals.
Yes.
And so
lots of money. The
whole thing is I've challenged him to bring this to his teammates. He likes Moe's, and we like this statement, welcome to Moe's, and he's a lineman, and maybe welcome to Moe's is his thing he says, not in a taunting way because you'll get a flag and that's not good. But maybe he says it to his teammates, and that becomes the basis of an NIL deal, and it gets on social media. And my sister's making an avocado football player with a mean mug.
Yes,
there it is. That's it.
Did Chris take that from your Facebook page or something?
I don't even think I posted that.
Chris dude, this is creepy now. Chris knows too much. He knows too much. He's following you.
This is blowing my mind.
He's following you.
That's the avocado. And so I said, give him like little stick arms and stick hands and feet and legs and whatnot, and a little football helmet, and I'll make shirts up. And yeah.
That's so great.
So that's it. And it's just this whole funny thing right now amongst father and son and some of the teammates. And we'll see where it goes. If not for anything, it's a bunch of laughs. And so hopefully here on our show, we can make you laugh and giggle a little bit. We've got a great guest for this week. As always, you can watch this show on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and on Facebook, where it's likely you're watching this because that seems to be where most of our folks tune in from. You can also catch it on audio. It goes out the next week to all the major players. This is episode 111. It seems like just yesterday we did episode 100.
I mean, we're coming up on our 3rd year of doing this.
Yeah.
Like pretty incredible.
We're podcasting pros.
This we are.
Or at least we attempt to be.
Chris makes us look like pros.
That's right. He does. Our fantastic producer, Chris Stone from Cast Ahead. His info's in the show notes if you ever want to put a podcast into what you do to get your message out there, which is what we do with Lancaster Connects, because we believe here at Gardener's Mattress and More that we should give back to the people in the county where we do business. And this is our way to show amazing people to you who do amazing work in the county. And I think on that, we should introduce Allison.
Yeah, might as well bring
Allison one of those amazing people.
We've got Allison Hawthorne representing Homefields right here in Lancaster. Allison, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I'm very familiar with Homefields, and maybe some of our listeners are and watchers are as well. I actually lived in a neighborhood that was right across from Homefields for many years when we were in Millersville, and we were purchasers of, I mean, you'll tell us what Homefields does, but we patronized Homefields quite often. And after we moved out of the area, we haven't been because it's like a 35-minute drive. And my wife is so sad that we're not closer to Homefields. But first of all, why don't you tell us all that Homefields does, maybe the mission a little bit of Homefields and what you're doing down there.
Sure. Thanks for the opportunity.
Hmm.
We so rarely have an opportunity to really zoom in on what we do. Home Fields is a variety. It's about people, really. It's a small nonprofit organization in Millersville that exists to create opportunities and options where none existed before, specifically for people with intellectual developmental disabilities, folks who are on the autism spectrum, folks who may be neurodiverse or have other barriers that make it difficult for them to find options to create a life, where to live, who to live with, where to work, where to volunteer. One of our main goals is to bring folks to the farm. We are a care farm, and we can take a deep dive into that later if you like, that operates a CSA. As you were
Hmm.
mentioning,
Hmm.
you were members of the CSA. That's a community supported agricultural program that our program runs May through early to mid November. So folks may purchase a share and come weekly or every other week. I have good news for you. I know your wife is really missing our produce. We have Picnic on the Farm coming up on
Mm.
Sunday, and you can come and see us and have a taste of that. We also produce educational experiences 1 to 2 times a month. So you have a chance to come and get your home fields on.
Yeah. And on that note, let's right here at the top of the show, because I know this is coming up as it's like your big weekend, right?
You
As
bet.
a football fan, the big weekend is Super Bowl. Well, this is the Super Bowl equivalent of what Homefields does, as I understand it. So we've got picnic at the farm this weekend. There's golf on Friday. I'll turn it over to you, Allison, to tell everybody listening, watching, who's going to pick this up. Uh, what is it about the golf event that's unique and fun, and what about the picnic at the farm?
I'm really glad you asked that. When we conceived of the golf outing many years ago, we wanted it to be accessible and mirror our purpose, our mission of creating and connecting, creating opportunities, connecting people to each other and to the land. So, toward that end, we did not want to have an event where it costs folks $500 a golfer to come and participate. For that reason, we reached out and collaborated with Community Services Group located here in Mountville, a certified B Corp and a great corporate citizen. And CSG has partnered with us to create an event that it is in its 28th year. What makes it different than other golf tournaments is accessibility. You can come and play. If you play once or twice a month, that's okay. We have great little fun contests. Everyone is welcome. We have barbecue, smokehouse barbecue and brews, which we will be providing our lunch for the day. CSG provides staffing and other types of administrative support. And it makes it a very fun day. We try to get that course done in regulation so we don't have a long round. We have a fun round.
I personally, as somebody that owns golf clubs, but can probably measure on these two hands the amount of times I've swung those clubs outside of a charity event. I appreciate the fact that you make it fun, because I was at one event and it was a charity event that I got put on the foursome with three other people who were super, super serious. And by about the sixth or seventh hole, I just made it a drinking game for myself of how many times they expressed and not enjoying having me on their foursome. And by about the 14th hole, I was pretty much in
Done.
the bag.
I
Um,
see.
and so I appreciate that you make it fun.
You
So
bet.
that doesn't mean good golfers can't enjoy. It just
That's right.
means everybody has fun.
It's like a lot of tournaments. It's a scramble format, and everybody has fun. Whether you are a serious scratch golfer and you can walk on any course and hit par, or like yourself, you go out a couple times a year, Jeff, and enjoy yourself.
Yep.
That is the goal of the golf tournament: is to bring people together and hit for home fields.
Yeah, love it.
And well, at this moment, if somebody's watching live, is there still opportunity to join for Friday?
That's a great question. I don't have the deep detail on that,
Mm.
because I'm overseeing mostly Picnic at the Farm, which is coming up on Sunday. A lot of our golfers are come with a sponsorship. So if you buy a sponsorship, you receive a foursome. I believe we are really at the top of where we can be, so we
Yep.
can no longer accept individual golfers. I have good news. You can get on a waiting list for next year. Our tournament sells out every year. You can
Oh,
go
that's
to our
great.
website at www.homefields.org and you find our contact form. We'll get you on the waiting list.
Or you could gather those three buddies you're going to go golf with, go golf somewhere else, ask for
Mm,
$50 from each of them, and make a donation,
that's
and
awesome.
just go golf somewhere else and
You
donate
could
to home fields.
absolutely do that. You bet.
Solving
Or you
problems
could
here
come
in
to
Lancaster
Cross
Phoenix.
Gates around 3 o'clock in the afternoon and play 9 holes and get your buddies to give us $500.
There you go.
That's awesome. So you said you're heavily involved in Sunday's events at the farm. Tell us about that.
That's great. Thanks for asking. It allows me to really take a deep dive into what this event is and what we hope to gain from it. Picnic at the Farm evolved about 10 years ago as a pivot away for me, away from golf, and to develop something that was on our property to bring people to us and connect with each other and to the land. So, Picnic at the Farm, what we do is we bring live music. Over Easy Trio will be playing. Lancaster County Career and Technology instructor Erin McFalls and her students design, develop, and deliver the children's area for children ages 3 to 12. It's not just Allison out there with a couple of juice boxes and a frisbee. This is a great event for families. It's a great event for children. Children 12 and under are free. And then we have lawn games and other things to do for young adults and older adults, those folks over 18. We offer a taste of home fields, which brings four guest chefs together. You mentioned you knew Chef Oliver. He was a
Mhm.
guest chef in 21. This year, we have Chef Matt from Pepper Theo, and we also have Kashari Station. And we have Erica Joy Bakes. We have some other folks joining us. Miller's Smorgasbord is providing the sustenance. They've designed a menu for our diners that's really focused on what folks who come as shareholders and come to Homefields enjoy. You can see the full menu on our website. Who has had a watermelon gazpacho shot? You can have one on Sunday. We also have a farmer's cocktail designed by one of our committee members. That farmer's cocktail uses lavender, it uses vodka. We also have mocktails, wine, and beer. It's one ticket price. So, what we hope to do is bring folks to us, enjoy being at Homefields with
Mhm.
good people, enjoying great music, great food, and for a great cause.
Love it.
That's awesome. What are the ticket prices?
The ticket prices ahead of time. It's a good question, Ben. Thanks for that. 12 and under, remember families 12 and under are free. 13 to 17 is our youth ticket at $10. 18 and over is $30. Save yourself $30 and sign up today. Otherwise, you'll pay $35 at the door.
Yep. That's awesome.
Man, Allison, you are prepared to deliver the picnic at the farm message. I love it.
Well,
Love it.
thank you. I appreciate that feedback.
And as far as like getting there, can you describe or tell our guests or tell our listeners how to find
Hello, those
home fields,
guests.
where you are, where to park, maybe some of the logistics of getting to
Oh,
the event.
thanks. Great question. Let's get into the detail on that. Millersville, Pennsylvania. That's where we're located. You can find us right online at 150 Latort Road. Now, the trick to that is you're not going to enter at 150. You're going to enter at 152, 154 Latort Road. We'll have event parking signs all around the area so folks will be able to see depending what direction you're coming from. We have accessible parking for those that have a placard, and we have accessible drop off for those that might not need need to have that handicap card but don't want to walk to the venue. For those that would like to walk, there's long-term parking off Walnut Hill Road.
Hmm.
And we provide a van shuttle to the venue. So if you got a couple of little ones, you may not want to walk it. You jump on the van and it's a 2-minute drive, less than a 2-minute drive.
That's fantastic.
And that van's also good if you happen to find some of that. I think you said vodka.
Watermelon.
If some of that
The
vodka
van
happens to
also,
find it
yes, the
going
van
into
comes
those
in real
watermelon
handy.
shooters.
I think we have more riders at the end of the day than we do at the beginning of the day. After you've had a few beers or you've had a few
Yeah,
cocktails, sometimes folks would like a ride back. We've got some fun lawn games to play. We'll be having some other opportunities to donate to the organization and help us out. We have a great little selfie station with one of our little tractors called Little Blue.
nice.
And it is rain or shine,
I was
correct?
just going
It
to ask
is rain
that.
or shine. Right now, the forecast is certainly not as great as it was 4 days ago. However, we have lots of tents. We do a lot of wood chipping on our paths, so it's easy to walk. We also have, courtesy of Millersville University Honors College and some of the sororities and fraternities, we have a great group of young volunteers who will be food
Mm,
and table runners for those with young children that may not want to schlep back and forth. We
yep.
also have, for folks that use a cane and gosh, the grass might be a little wet, we'll have food runners to serve you. And we have plenty of tents.
Yeah. And so rain or shine, if you have time in your schedule, get on out there because we really get like maybe 8 nice weekends in the fall here in Pennsylvania,
Mhm.
and
Oh, that's a very good point.
so make it a point to get out
This is
because they
our, as you
make it
mentioned, this is
enjoyable.
our Super Bowl with our Fall Classic golf tournament and our picnic at the farm. So we were very selective in trying to choose a weekend in the fall where we thought we'd have 2 or 3 good days, and most of the time we make out really well. So come on out, even if it's raining. The only thing that would cancel us is if we had a thunder or lightning storm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
If you
Well,
have any
Yeah.
questions
we've got
on
some good wood here we knocked on. No thunder, no lightning.
no, thank you guys. If you have any questions, you wake up Sunday morning, you'd really like to bring the family out for the day, you're not sure, it's a little drizzly, you can always go onto our website or you can call our office number at 717-572-2719. And you can always shoot our info email box if you have any concerns of, gosh, are they going to do this picnic at the farm or not?
Yeah, yeah,
We've never
yeah.
canceled. We've never
Mm,
canceled golf in 28 years, and we've never canceled picnics, so, we've been very fortunate.
that's a great track record.
Very good. So you've got this big weekend coming up, which is going to be a lot of fun for everybody attending, and obviously it's for the intention to raise funds to further the mission of what you do at Homefields. And specifically, you've got this kind of unique model there on the farm to help those with disabilities. But tell us how you use that 19 acres exactly, and how does it all translate through to help bring those in that can utilize the farm and learn skills and applications for life.
Oh, thank you. Great question. Let's spotlight it. Adults with disabilities, once you age out of the secondary school system at 21, there's a lot of head scratching. The teachers, concerned professionals, and parents do. What are we going to do for this to help this person learn a vocational skill? Or learn a volunteer skill. So we have in production about 9 acres. We are certified organic, and the reason that we are branded as a care farm, we can take a deep dive into that later if you'd like to come back to that, is exactly to support our mission of expanding job opportunities and volunteer opportunities for people with disabilities. So part of how that happens is from time to time we'll receive a grant, for example, through the Stabler Foundation. That allowed us this year to engage an occupational therapist that could help us redesign some of the tasks that our supported farmhands will be doing for us. Some of the supported farm hands will do farm tasks independently that they've learned. Some will need coaching and support. So our supported farm hands are employed part-time. Then we bring in other groups, say, for example, from Friendship Community, Occupational Developmental Center, private folks may live at home and their parents will send them over and they will volunteer for the day. Some of those tasks might be we need to harvest, cut, and dry garlic. And it's great to have 12 or 15 people working on that for 5 or 6 hours. That allows us to get that achieved in one day instead of spread out over the week.
Yeah. Very good.
How did Homefields start? So that the 19 acres of land, was that land that was donated, or what? How did the land come about, and who founded it, and why is it right there at Millersville?
Oh, really? You guys have experience, I can tell. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about our genesis. Homefields really originated from a conversation between a mother and a daughter. Tom and Linda Strauss have 3 children, and their youngest child is their daughter was looking and watching her brothers do the things that you do when you're a teenager. You might get a lawn mowing job, you might get a driver's permit and get a license. And she had a conversation wondering what was she going to do as she grew up. That was a lightning bolt moment for the parents that realized, hey, the resources are really not there for our daughter to have choices in where she lives, who she lives with, where she volunteers, where she works. So that was the genesis of a conversation that began with 5 families and some concerned professionals, including myself. So our founding board included those parents, including Tom and Linda Strauss, Mrs. Dorothy Lier. She has 2 sons, has 2 sons. She is no longer with us. So those are some of our founding board members and some of our professionals who you're seeing that right now on the screen. These are our founding families right up here. We had a site selection criteria. So in answer to your first question, was the land donated? No. The original property was 150, 152, and 154 Latourt Road with 2 houses, a barn, a couple of outbuildings, and some land. The families and other professionals donated money to qualify for a mortgage. And throughout the years, we've paid on that mortgage. We acquired about 10, 12 years ago, we acquired 128 Latourt Road because that land had 14 acres and it was contiguous with ours. It was going up for auction and it would have effectively ruined 20 years of organic compliance and it would have shut down the CSA and shut down our program.
I remember
So
that.
do
Living
you
close by,
remember?
I do remember you going through and doing that. Yeah.
As a shareholder, former shareholder and neighbor, then you may have remembered that time. That was a very difficult time. And for those reasons, we need more support, more funding, buy more tickets, write a check, participate in our Sustain a Farmer program, because we are paying a second mortgage that we did not intend to
Mhm.
pay. How did we land up in Millersville? We had a site selection criteria. Some of that criteria include, you know, we got to be on a bus route. People with disabilities
Mhm.
often have transportation challenges. Mom and dad can run you around when you're 13, but what about when you're 33? And if you need a job and you can acquire a job, sometimes it's out of reach, not because of skill or interest or opportunity, but because of a bus schedule. So that was on our criteria. We wanted to be on a bus route. We wanted to be near young people, learning, education. So for us to locate and find a farm like this that's a mile and a half west of university was really just checked a lot of those boxes. So that's really the reason that we are located in Millersville.
I love seeing these photos because especially like the photos of the property and even some of the people. I recognize all of these photos and even some of the people that are in there. We were shareholders at least from probably 2006 or seven through just a handful of years ago. And the only
Oh,
reason we're
great.
not anymore is just proximity. We it's difficult for us to get there weekly. But can you talk a little bit more about the share program and how that works in case some listeners
You
want to
bet.
get involved there?
You bet. That is being located in Millersville is one of our it is a challenge because it's a destination. It's really not on the way to anywhere. So most of our shareholders live nearby. If
Hmm.
you live in Lidditz, you're not going to drive, to come and be a shareholder. Thanks for asking more about our shareholder program. You can sign up at any time during the year as long as we have some spots available. We now have options that weren't available when you were a shareholder where you can come every other week. So if you feel your summer's going to be busy, can't get there every week, that's okay. We have small, medium, and large shares. You go online to homefields.org to the farm. You can see the tabs. There's a little drop down menu. It says CSA Farm. That's where you sign up. One of the great options that we have that is different from other CSAs is you'll remember the PYO, the pick your own fields.
Hmm.
There are CSAs that may offer herbs. However, they may bag those for you, or they may say you can only have 6 stems of rosemary, for example. Our pick your own fields consist of flowers, many different type of herb varieties, some ground cherries, small cherry tomatoes, peppers, things that we want them to be fresh, blueberries, strawberries, and those are offered to shareholders. We ask you to pick whatever you can use, leave enough for others, and don't overpick. Otherwise, we don't put limitations on you. So, hey, if your family loves pesto, you can come and you can pick all the pesto you please.
Well, we would take the kids there.
Wait a minute. I didn't know. Wait, I'm not a big pesto person.
All right. Don't
What?
worry.
So pesto's grown?
Pesto's not grown. The ingredients are grown, sir.
Okay.
Basil. So basil and
All
garlic
right.
are ingredients. So don't worry.
Just
There's
about
no
Getting
pesto
a food lesson here.
being harvested anywhere. You
right. I'm
said you brought
thinking,
kids to
yeah.
Homefields.
Well, and that's a great, like, it was a great benefit of being a shareholder. Like you mentioned, the pick your own. We would take the kids there to pick blueberries. My wife loves picking the flowers there. Always would bring home a bouquet of flowers. But all the
That's your
pick your
job.
own stuff, right? Well, yeah, I guess so. But yeah, I mean, some of our favorite memories with the kids are going to the farm and doing the pick your own, or just getting our normal share.
That's a great point. Our vision is to be a place that's friendly for families and to help parents teach their children where does food come from. It does not come from a box. And Jeff, don't worry, pesto's not grown in the field. And if you
Yeah.
don't like it, that's perfectly fine. We have lots of other choices. Another
So
unique feature of the care farm is opportunities for volunteerism and our partner farms
Mm.
that have evolved over the years. So we collaborate with, for example, North Star Orchards, so you can buy organically grown fruit. You could buy mushrooms from Village Crest Mushroom Farm. You can buy responsibly raised meat from Mirror Image, and you can pick up at Home Fields even if you're not a member. You can still get your Lancaster pharmacy on, get your passenger coffee. We offer a number of types of items.
That's great.
what's so funny about this is no, I'm not like a city boy that thought pesto grew off of a branch. It really
I
just
don't
blew
know.
my
I
mind
was a
for a
little
second
worried, Jeff.
the way you said it. Well, the funniest thing about all of this is really from like the age of 6 through 11 ish, I think it was. I grew up in Ontario, Canada, and we were in farm country in like midwestern central Ontario, and that's how we put food in our pantry and in our root cellar and in the freezer was a big multi-acre garden. And, so I picked corn and potatoes and carrots and green beans and tomatoes and peppers. I'm probably forgetting a few other things. But when you just said you you said you pick your own pesto, it just really like the brakes in my mind just halt. Thanks, Chris. The thanks. The
I
brakes in my
love it.
mind. I'm just envisioning like, wait a minute. Is there a pesto plant that just gets ground up and that's
Yeah,
your
you,
pesto?
all these years you
But
made
Jeff,
no, it's
when
all
can
this
we
other
sign
stuff.
you up to volunteer? You know, you mentioned, Ben, that your children being out there at picnic
Yeah.
at the farm. As I mentioned, we have a very robust, well-designed children's activities with both educational play, free play. Typically, the students and the teacher will create a PYO, a pick your own scavenger hunt, and they'll have
Mm.
that in the pick your own fields. So there's lots of opportunities, and don't worry, Jeff, if you need to learn a little bit more about herbs, we can sign you up for volunteering.
Jeff's getting a scholarship to herb class.
So Allison, the folks that work the farm there that have disabilities, some of them live there, correct?
Oh, thanks for asking that question. That's a really common misconception.
Okay.
No, there
Oh,
was
they don't.
only one person throughout the years that was had the physicality and the endurance to live and work on the care farm, and it was great for him for more than 15 years. He walked, I don't know, he walked about 25 yards right out his side door to work. The two homes that live there do support people, and folks live there that have been aging for the last 30 plus years. So no one who currently lives at Homefields works on the farm. The
Right.
folks that work on the farm applied through Goodwill, Keystone Goodwill, and other vocational providers for training and opportunities.
Yeah, I always remember Goodwill being associated with Homefields. Can you talk a little bit more about that association?
Well, sure. That association, we had a long collaborative relationship with Goodwill from 1995 until the end of 2017. This is a
Mm.
great opportunity for me to talk to your audience a little bit about the PA regulations that license vocational providers, residential providers. In 2017, the state of Pennsylvania changed, brought in a new regulation. So, without going too deep and too technically, I don't want your audience to fall asleep. I'll summarize it by simply saying that this regulation redefined what qualifies as volunteer work, what qualifies as compensated work. It eliminated our ability, which Goodwill was paying people a piece rate. So based on what you produced is what your paycheck was. Now
Mm.
the interesting thing, Jeff may have met the tomato picking standard of 50, maybe Ben does 25, maybe Allison does 10. However, we're all on a team where we're having the work experience, where we're developing both actual job skills, but we're also part of a team. We're also socializing. We're also having the therapeutic benefit of working on a care farm. This 2017 regulation required providers to pay minimum wage regardless of the productivity. And
Mhm.
that really prompted many providers, including Keystone Goodwill, to rethink their model. So, for that reason, since January of 2018, Homefields has been solely responsible for operating the farm. And that's why we really need community support to fund, to buy a ticket, to become a CSA member, to participate in our Sustain a Farmer program so more people have an opportunity. We had to reduce the number of folks with disabilities that would have competitive employment versus intermittent volunteer opportunities. I hope that I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does. So we've used this term care farm a few times, um, but I don't know that we've defined it, unless I missed that part. I might have been too confused about
No, I
pesto
don't think
plant
so. No, I don't think
growing
so. And
pesto.
thanks for giving me the opportunity to zoom in on what a care farm is.
Yes, please do.
Homefields is an innovator in this growing care farm movement, growing across the world. We're the first one in Lancaster County, the second one in Pennsylvania. A care farm utilizes agricultural principles and the setting just being in nature to have therapeutic value and production value. So you could have a care farm with goats and horses, and people can come and do therapeutic riding. People can come and groom the horses. That would be on the side outside of agriculture. That would be more like husbandry. For care farms that do not have animals, like Homefields Care Farm, we utilize that setting and utilize the practices for therapeutic benefit. So whether you're on our team to work and produce, or whether you're coming once a week or twice a month, you're going to get the benefit of being connected to the land, connected to other people, and being in nature. That's really the loose description of what a care farm is. The origin is coming across the pond from New Zealand, England, down from Canada, and
Mm.
it's coming across the nation. If you look on our website, you will find that we were one of 8 participants in 2018 in the very first Mid-Atlantic Care Farm Summit. So we were standing beside farms from Virginia and as far away as Italy.
Wow.
That's pretty amazing.
Very good. I mean, we've had, come to think of it, we've had at least one other care farm then on the show, Building Bridges. They do horse equine therapy for veterans.
So,
And,
so let me just clarify a little bit.
okay.
I know Building Bridges is getting set to open in October, and they are equine therapy. They are not branded as a care farm, but
Okay.
they certainly could look at that. They would fit within the parameters of a
Okay.
care farm.
Okay. I suppose I just connected the dots there because you said there can be different types, but
Yes,
it's
yes, you
going through the
bet.
proper protocol and everything. Sure. I
Yeah,
certainly
you bet.
appreciate that you've done that for your farm. Um, yeah, fantastic. So, you know, obviously what you're doing is great. How can the community continue to help further that impact? Because I've used this scenario a little bit. Our neighbors where I live, they have a son on the autism spectrum, and when you said they age out at 21, it dawns on me that I bet you they're coming up on that.
Mm.
Mhm.
And so, what would you say to the community about filling the gap for their neighbors who have, maybe it's a child, maybe it's a brother, a spouse? I don't know. It's somebody they love and care for. They're looking ahead at that age 21 and beyond, which I would imagine is pretty scary
Oh, you
to
bet.
think.
For parents that have a 14 or 15-year-old in this scenario, they want to be working with their county supports coordinator on a transition plan. What I would say to the community is thank you for 30 plus years of broad support, understanding, and encouragement. And now the next step for the community is participate in our Sustain a Farmer program. That is either a monthly, quarterly, or
Mm.
semi-annual donation. You can get together with your team members at work and say, hey, how about we all put in $10 and you're writing us a check $120 a month. That helps us sustain, particularly through the winter months. You mentioned earlier, Ben, about the CSA. Our program does not open till May. We close in November. So our income is all in that time frame. And we need to sustain ourselves over the winter. That's a way to help. Coming to an event like Picnic at the Farm, getting your company together and sponsoring a hole at the golf tournament, or becoming a sustainable sponsor at Picnic at the Farm. These are all ways that the community can help. Check out our Experience Homefields tab on our website. That's where you'll see programs that are produced like Art at the Farm, a butterfly talk, a drumming circle. Those are sliding scale programs to create that accessibility in the same way that we wanted to welcome all golfers. So you pay a sliding scale that can range from a $5 minimum to a $15 ticket price. That is how we're trying to connect people to us, to each other, to the land, and create some additional income to help sustain us through the winter.
Yep.
That's great. So, as we look to wrap up our time talking about home fields, and then we have some questions for you, Allison, to get to know you a little bit better. What's next for home fields? I mean, we're kind of wrapping up. You're wrapping up right now the harvest season for 2023. What do you have big picture for 2024 and beyond?
Great question. I'd like to know that too. So let's spotlight what we typically do as committees, and we, that's another way that folks can help. If you are a person who has experience serving on a board of directors or serving as a committee member, or you don't have any experience but you're interested, call us, come on our website, fill out our contact form. We get together and we start to wrap up the year in October, November. We take that look back and that look forward. In 2024, we'll be looking forward to working with the USDA on a sustainable agricultural project that improves our soil as we are good stewards of the land. Good nutritious food begins with the soil. So we're working on that aspect of farming and ensuring that the CSA will be there in the future. This year was a turnaround year for us. We produced a great CSA, so we'll be looking at those customer surveys and making adjustments going into the new year. In April of 2024, we'll be kicking off the season with Open Farm. So please keep your eyes open for that. That is typically the third Saturday in April. And maybe you'll be nice enough to kindly invite us back in early April. Shameless plug for Open Farm 2024. That's a day where you don't have to pay anything. You just come, hang
Oh, cool.
out, look at who we are. There's specials we run on signups at that time. We'll be building out our board, we'll be building out committees, and we'll be further developing that Sustain a Farmer program with our partner organizations like Community Services Group, TES Incorporated, which has Miller's Smorgasbord, Smokehouse Barbecue and Brews, Brenneman Printing, Simon Lever. These are all corporations around us that help keep us buoyant.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what Allison you just shared there goes to often where we look to kind of put a bow on our time. And obviously you can donate to Home Fields. There's a donation button on the site, not a donation, but a donation button on the site. Um, you can golf next year. You can attend picnic at the park or at the farm this weekend, rain or shine. But it goes to time, talent, and treasure. And so there are lots of opportunities to donate. But if that's just not financially feasible for you, that time thing and treasure, or I'm sorry, talent thing come into play. And you said about committees. So maybe you don't have the time or you're not of confidence enough to be on a board, but you could be on a committee. You could give graphic design help. You could give social media help. You could give, and I'm not trying to step on any toes of great talents you already have. I'm as an example, right? These are the things that we highlight and we want to continue to shine and remind the community of that you can give back. So if Homefields is an organization that you connect to, by all means, please reach out to us. We'll make a connection to Allison. You can reach out direct to them on the site. If you know of another charity that dovetails into what Homefields does and you want that intro, reach out to us. We just did that with Blessings of Hope and Veterans of PA.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, Blessings of Hope offers food at 31 cents a pound, like reprocessed, reclaimed food. Well, that I would imagine is going to do a tremendous benefit to the Veterans of PA's budget.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. And thank you
And,
for
and these are
saying
the
that.
kinds of connections we want to make on this show.
That really reminds me of some of the other work that we do. On Mondays, anything that has not been picked up by shareholders or that had to be harvested so it could be saved, we donate to the loft in Millersville. So if you don't have time and you don't feel that your checkbook is quite as flexible as you'd like it to be, we really welcome you to come on and help us for one day, help us every week. There are many different committees where you can get involved. If you like to produce events, if you have social media skills, if you just like to plan things and you have ideas, Our 2024 begins with brainstorming. What are we going to do next? Check us out on our website. Fill out a volunteer form. We have a tab on there for group volunteers. So if you have a team or a family and you'd like to come on and do either a team building project or, hey, let's go out for a day and help Homefields, you can fill that out. Takes 5 minutes and we'll get right back to you. You can see it. Thank you very much for getting that up. That's our resident technical fellow. So that, yes, that is the link to volunteer as an individual or volunteer as a group. We really appreciate that kind of support.
That's great. Allison, thank you so much for sharing uh, all the great things that Homefields is doing there. This has been kind of eye-opening. Again, I've been familiar with Homefields, but I mean, just to see all that you do for the community and for those that have disabilities, it's just a wonderful, wonderful program.
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity. Some of the folks that we're seeing here were in 2022 and 2023, we expanded our internship programs and we're very excited to be welcoming an intern from F&M and another intern from Millersville University for 2023, 2024. They can really make an impact.
It dawns on me just a little bit of brainstorming here, right live over the air. So watch out.
This
All
has
right.
nothing to do with pesto,
So,
right?
so Ben's like, oh my gosh, where we're going, because he's seen and been witness to some of my craziness. At any rate, you know, I'll share this story. As a kid, I had a family where, growing up in Ontario, I would pick rocks, and I was on my Uncle Donald's farm, and one thing Uncle Donald did was he'd reach out in the community to kids that were struggling, right? Maybe they were just, hard on mom and dad, had an attitude, maybe in the school. He knew a couple school teachers. And he'd get them on a farm and really show them what life was about, what work was about, what taking pride in a job well done was about. So do you do anything like that, like with local schools or local youth organizations where there might be some at risk, kids that are just kind of struggling to understand what this thing called life is all about and get them grounded literally in some cases to the farm?
So we don't have a formal program. What we do have is relationship building. So thanks for
There
giving
you
me
go.
that opportunity to do a shout out. Community Services has a program called Tempo. There are folks that have to re-enter the workforce for one reason or another.
Mm.
It's difficult. We welcome those folks. We have had some youth come on. As you described, that are just having a hard time. This year, we were fortunate to connect with Horizons, hosted by Lancaster Country Day, and they support and offer summer programming for youth in this, particularly in Lancaster City. And they
Yeah.
came on and had a field trip for the day. So we do offer those programs. We're not large enough to do a lot of intentional outreach. What I encourage folks that hear the podcast and see it and are interested, reach out to us. We really want to provide as much as we can with the care farm and as many opportunities to as many people. And now certainly from your growing up experience, that being out on a farm for a couple of days and being outdoors and in nature, it's one of the only places where you can see, and particularly as a person with an intellectual developmental disability, with autism, someone who's neurodiverse or struggling, it's the only place you can see, I planted this seed and now I have this person
Hmm.
smiling because they're picking a tomato. That's a full circle.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's unusual.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Very cool. Allison, thank you for sharing everything that you've done and you're so excited about and passionate about at Homefields. We've got a few questions for you to kind of let our watchers get to know you a little better. Is it all right if we ask you?
Shoot, go right
Or
ahead.
connect with Dale, and we'll have a virtual watermelon
Watermelon.
gazpacho vodka shooter. Bottoms up. So what subject was your favorite in school?
Probably art.
Okay. Very cool.
I
Any,
am. I had
any
a hard
specific
time
medium?
choosing between art and theater and music and writing.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, all the arts. Love it. Love it. So let's say you're hosting somebody from out of town in Lancaster here, and they're in town for the first time. Where are you taking them?
Well, I definitely take them to Homefields. Now, guys, you know that was a foregone
Love,
conclusion. You know,
love the plug. Love when
yeah,
people
gotta
have
come
no
to
qualms about
Homefields.
plugging their own thing. Love it.
Gotta come to Picnic at the Farm. If you're a fan of Italian food, have to hit Lombardo's or
Okay.
Ciro's. If
Mm-hmm.
you like sports, you've got to hit the Barnstormers. If you're more of a downtown person and an arts person, you've got to hit the museum circuit. You got to go to Mulberry Art Studios,
Mm.
Passenger Coffee, hang out at Central Market. You've got to hit some of those places that are quintessential Lancaster.
Is it April that owns Mulberry Art Studios? I remember,
April Copenhaver has Mulberry Art Studios,
yeah,
correct?
and she still runs it.
Yes. Hmm.
I remember her from way back in the day when I had my mobile DJing business.
Oh my goodness.
I was
Yeah.
one of the first artists in there, along with Lynn Yancha and a few other
Okay.
people. I
Yep.
had an
Oh,
art
cool.
studio in there for some time.
Yep. Yep.
So your artwork, this is off the. Do you have a specific type of artwork that you do or that you like to do? Anything you like
It's
to?
painting, it's mixed media, it's using writing and music and all the media
Oh,
together.
cool. Very cool.
Funny about Mulberry Art Studio because it dovetails into our last connection cocktail question. So the question is, describe your perfect idea of relaxation. And before you answer it, I'll say why it dovetails to Mulberry. So my band back in the day, my metal band, April was kind enough to give us space to practice in, but I
Wow.
could then tell we weren't vibing. We weren't. And I went to April. I said, "This is not really. I'm not sure we're a fit, and I think you might agree." And I forget how she said it, but it was basically, "Yeah, no, you're not a fit." And
I believe I remember those days. We were quite annoyed.
I, so, yeah, if you were there,
Yes,
yes,
we were quite
we were
annoyed.
loud and
We
fast
certainly
and heavy.
This is great.
recognize the desire to have a community space, but when you're trying to concentrate, yeah, the metal is not doing it for me. So to answer your question, a perfect relaxation for me would have to be a day outside where I could paint plein air, where I could also then wrap up my evening with cocktails, good company, great food, and cap it off with one of those gazpacho shooters, or maybe the lavender cocktail that we'll
Hmm.
enjoy on
Hmm.
Sunday from some of our own homegrown lavender. I know it sounds weird, just like a watermelon gazpacho shooter. I really
No, that sounds
encourage
great.
listeners, be open. Come see us
Yeah,
on Sunday at Picnic at the Farm. Come and support us.
Yeah,
that's great.
love it.
I love that connection. What are you talking, like 20
So
some years
this is
ago?
this would have been like 98, 99
Oh my
ish,
gosh,
Yeah,
like 25 years ago.
yeah. A
right about
terrible
the time
thing. It
frame.
was a terrible thing to have to put up with a metal band. It just is a tragedy. It ruins your vibe. You can't get any work done. You have headaches. You don't want to be rude.
Your artwork from that period, Allison, was probably very dark, right? Listening to
Very
that and
Jackson Pollock. I would say very Jackson Pollock all over the place.
I
Certainly
think
was
it was
not a
only
serene watercolor.
oh my goodness.
I think it might have been only 6, 8 weeks we were there. It wasn't long.
It was a short period of time, and
Yeah.
although we did not want to have anarchy, I believe we made our feelings known.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. I love it. I haven't laughed this hard on on the podcast in a while.
Yep.
I,
Yep.
I'm really glad we could be entertaining for you.
Yep.
And we left there and went to Reamstown to some old cabinet factory that our
Oh,
bass
that was a
player's
good
dad
idea.
was
Yeah.
listing as for sale, and we worked out a deal to be there. At any rate, this has been a lot of fun, Allison. You're doing wonderful work there at Homefields. It's homefields.org. It is their Super Bowl weekend. If you can come out to Crossgates and, even if it's just at the end of the day to say, high five, way to go, golfers, and make a donation, please do that. Picnic at the Farm is on Sunday, the 24th, rain or shine. Uh, Plans to be a great day. $30 in advance, 35 at the door for adults. Youth is $10, 13 to 17, and kids under 12 are free. please make sure to check that out from 11 to 3. See, you can even get the afternoon football game in. So,
Absolutely.
like, it's just a great day, and they do great work for our community. So please be sure to check them out. Homefields.org. Allison, thank you.
Thank you very
Been a
much,
pleasure.
guys. I appreciate the opportunity. We'll see you in April of 2024. How about that?
I like that. Let's see how she's putting
Thanks
her
for what
plug
you're
in there.
doing
Yeah.
to
Love
connect
it.
people to each other. It's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being on our show and giving your time.
Have a great day.
You too.
You too.
Well, that was always fun. So if you want to have a fun guest and maybe do the way back clock and find out how you were connected to Jeff or Ben previously, you go to lancasterconnects.com/guest. Man, we were loud. I mean, we were loud.
I can imagine.
And just April is such a nice person. I haven't seen her for years, and she was so nice to let us in. But I could tell she was so regretting letting us in.
Did she know what kind of music you were going to play before?
We
You're like, oh, we're like Simon and Garfunkel. We're
no,
quiet.
I didn't know. I said we were hard rock, but like it's like everybody's like a mattress. There's a $200 mattress, and there's a $200,000 mattress.
Mm-hmm.
There's a spectrum, and our wavelengths were off. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you want to be a guest on the show, you're doing good for the community. Go to lancasterconnects.com/guest, and we'll get the ball started by you filling out the information on that form, and we'll have you on the show. I think we're booking into November at this point.
Yeah.
And so we're having a lot of fun, a lot of great guests, and that's that. Do you have your testimonial?
I do have a testimonial.
Okay. Well, you're getting that out. I'll give you your
Bring it
Sleep
up
Better
here.
tip. So we have a great book right here over my shoulder. Sleep Better, chock full of sleep tips, sleep habits, sleep hygiene, how to develop great sleep routines. And one thing that I would say is just kind of taking time out to relax and unwind. And maybe it's down at the farm at Homefields there. I did it this weekend at my campsite. I actually laid out in the rock field of Blue Rocks Campground. And boy, did I sleep good later that night. And it was cool.
Awesome.
So connecting with nature, we live in such a connected world of cell phones and computers, and we're just amped up as though you were listening to my band to seat 25 years ago, just thrashing out at you like we were. Decompress, unwind.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah. There's the old guy out there. And I was pretty
Connecting
far out.
with nature.
That's where I laid down
Okay.
on that slab, and I put my feet up and was able to kind of be in this almost like zero gravity like relaxation. And
Recliner, like a rock recliner.
I don't know that you'd be able to hear it, or Chris could bring the sound through, but there's water under those rocks, like rushing water. It kind of freaked me out for a minute.
Yeah.
Because I know what water does, and there's a lot of weight.
Right.
And then there's me on top of all of it. But yeah, I never knew there was running water.
That's
because
cool.
You don't see it anywhere there.
Yeah.
But pretty cool boulder field that's like billions of years old. So kind of makes you question your place in this world when you're amongst billion-year-old rocks.
That's right.
Anyway,
that's cool.
We'll send you the book, gardenersmattressandmore.com/sleep-better, devoid of any Jeff's pontificating rock discussion. But we'll send you the book.
Sounds good. So this review, I'm actually going to read our response to it first. Jeff, you usually respond to our Google reviews, Facebook reviews, that sort of thing.
I'm a little concerned.
So you told this person, you hit the trifecta working with our team, and we are happy to help. One thing we work towards each day is a continuity of experience, no matter who you speak with. So the testimonial was, and this is just great. Like, we've got a great team here. Chad, Phil, Drew. We strive to make sure we have the same experience every single time, over and over again. It's one of the reasons why we're 14 times in a row
14
Reader's
times.
Choice winner for Lancaster's favorite mattress store. But anyway, the review was, this was the best mattress buying experience. We worked with Phil, Chad, and Drew Well, a lot of times maybe you work with one person, maybe a second person, but this person hit the trifectas. They worked with it. Each of us, Phil, Chad, and Drew, and each one was helpful, knowledgeable, and kind. They all understood the big decision that comes with buying a new mattress, and they asked good questions to ensure that they gave us expert advice to help us decide. Definitely a 5-star experience, highly recommend. So it's really great as business owners to hear that type of feedback about our team, because they are treating our customers, our neighbors, Lancaster Countyans, the same way that we would treat the people in the door.
Fellow Lancasterites.
Yes.
Lancastrians.
So thank you for the review, Mr. Boyd.
That's a wrong Burgundy reference.
Yeah, it's true.
San Diegans.
Kind of like pesto.
I mean, I know pesto doesn't grow on a plant.
Pesto trees.
It just, if you could open up my brain, it like the brakes screeched to a complete halt, and I had to think for a second. Wait,
Right.
Did she just say pesto grows on the farm? Like, I know it comes in a jar, and I know you can make it, and I've seen it made. But I'm like, wait a minute, does it grow as a plant? Sorry,
It happens.
We can professionally help you select the mattress. Everything else off the table.
Off the table.
At any rate, we are just at that time, which means it's time to go. We'll see you next week on Lancaster Connects, and have a wonderful week. Till the next connection. We'll see you.